All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Potluck. We are going to be jumping into some of the big coins. We're going to be seeing what's been going on, and I've been calling these shots pretty well in the group. I saw the collapse coming, and I'll show you how I saw that coming, and really where we are right now, and where we are headed. As far as news is concerned, let's just knock that out because I think that there's been some interesting news that has gone on. I linked an article that I think is a really interesting read, at least just outlining a lot that has taken place in the past 2 days. One of the big things is the ETF denial. I saw that coming. I really wasn't banking on that. But I think one of the big things that I found most interesting was the effect that Bitmex had on the whole cryptocurrency market when it was scheduled for maintenance. And we'll dive into what happened with that. So if you guys are just joining me, and if you want to join along, and if you want to graph with me, I do have the application which I've developed, and we do have this live stream connected. So you have the ability to graph along with me, watch this live stream, and maybe you retain a little bit better information. So I find this really interesting. But if you guys are trying to comment, you can either comment in YouTube or in our private Discord if you have particular points that you're wanting me to look at. So with that, let's just dive into it. Today's been a pretty big hit as far as Bitcoin's concerned. We've taken a 6.62% hit as of right now as far as Bitcoin. Ethereum has taken another bad hit, which is 5.35. BNB's hanging in there. Not as big of a price difference, but it really didn't enjoy that much gains. So I think it's just still caught up in limbo, but we'll dive into it a little bit better. First thing is kind of getting a base idea of where we are and what's going on. To start off, one of the big things is angles and wedges, and really just being able to define channels and where we're heading and where we're going to be seeing price resistance really strong. So just diving into this, I've been calling for over 3 months now, 4 months maybe, basically that we are playing within two wedges, and I use this as an indicator to tell that we were going to break out from this wedge, and as soon as we did, I knew that we were going to run all the way up to 8,500, and lo and behold, we did that. We ran up to 8,000, and then that's whenever I was telling you guys to consolidate, and the shorting came fast, and we consolidated really fast, but here we are, and I'm seeing the breakdown even farther as far as where we ended up heading, because the shorts weren't in the market whenever the Bitmex exchange went down. You could see this one candle. This candle has been a brutal candle on the day because maintenance happened at night, but really we rode all the way up to 8%, and then we definitely lost everything that we gained on that candle. So you only had a little bit of time to really react on it. If you would have been in our group, I'm going to throw this up here so that you guys can see that basically we were talking within the group, and I was telling you guys what I was looking at as far as the price action is concerned. I know on the 1 hour this is going to be looking making a lot more sense, but really I was telling you guys that we were about to break out from this as soon as we basically had a little bit of a false I guess sell, where basically the bulls, the whales were able to trick us in thinking that the price was collapsing a little bit earlier before we had one last major dump. As soon as I saw that they were doing this, I did buy back in, but I told you guys that I was expecting consolidation at 6,700 and that the ETF wasn't going to work out. And as you can see timestamped here, this was yesterday at 4:23, so we can see that this was way before any of this has taken place. So let me just jump back into the graph and we can dive into where we were and really what's going on. So as far as a scary point in the market, this is definitely a bear moment for me. As soon as we hit up to where I knew that we were going to see resistance, because if we zoom out, we have two things holding us back right now. As far as technical analysis is concerned, we have these two huge, I guess, hills that are really pushing us down, and which really pushed us down fast from this point. And if you guys were watching my videos on Ichimoku clouds, I use this indicator a lot. I'm going to throw it up. And let's go into the 1 day because it actually fell right where I was expecting. If you guys remember me telling you where the max potential as far as within this period should be is this pocket below the Ichimoku clouds. And basically this was where I basically signified that this is going to be the top for me as far as bullish is concerned, because I was expecting a little bit of a bull market, I guess from down from these lows all the way up to where we saw where we hit this. But now that we've hit this and we've collapsed so far, and as I indicated in my Discord chat, whenever we were at 6,700, I told you guys that this is the time to start selling because I knew that we were going to start collapsing. So let's dive into the 1 hour. Let's see if we can see anything. So yeah, 1 hour is looking bearish as far as the clouds are concerned. Another thing is that the volume on the 1 hour is huge on negative. So you definitely have a lot more bears in the market right now. And I know that like with where Bitmex is and with shorting, I know that the shorts are winning. I think like right now it's up to like 52%. And another thing is that for all of this volume, to be seen just for Bitmex being taken offline, that's insane. So, shorting is definitely playing a part within the market, and that's why I'm really going to be diving into HassOnline these next few days, because shorting is such a needed capability, and you need an automation trading program that has the ability to short and allows you to basically play both ends of the coin. So then you can ride these extremes. If you would have been in the group, you would have rode this all the way up to the 6%, and then you can ride it on the other end, and you're compounding your interest extremely fast, because if you go all the way up and you're riding it all the way down, then you got 12% or 13% versus just a regular 6% on a day. So it's been a really good day in the market for me, for a lot of people in the group. But let's dive into some of the other coins. Let's see how the altcoin market's holding in comparison. And lo and behold, I really don't think it's going to be that strong. So Ethereum, here's Ethereum. As far as Ethereum's concerned, I still think that Ethereum's dead underwater until I can get some life in it. I wanted to I did a little bit of not range. We can go into that another time. But as far as the 1 day is concerned, it's not looking good, because on the 1 day, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, we can make out some wedges, some healthy areas that we're playing in. But with Ethereum, we're really past that. As soon as we broke down from this blue line, we lost all of the wedges that we had, and then we entered in no man's land. And now it's like, what happens next? And in all honesty, I think that it's very plausible if what I'm expecting to happen. I'm going to jump back over to Bitcoin so that we can see this. But for example, Bitcoin on the day, right? If we're going to continue to be playing within this bear market, which is this wedge, right? And if we topped out at this yellow line and we continue to consolidate from this point, this would bring us down another 10%. But where exactly would that bring us? That would bring us at 5,928. So that's an interesting point where we can start to hopefully see some life again. Consolidation back down to 6,000. Maybe we will get a false breakdown where the whales will try and trick us and catch a little bit more gains, where they will push the price down with one huge sell, and then they'll try and buy back as much as possible. So that's a very likely scenario, and what I'm expecting is for us to consolidate down to the line, and this could take a few days as the price deteriorates, and as we consolidate, I'm hoping off of 6,000. 6,000 is the lucky number, hopefully, that we can stick with, and hopefully we can consolidate again, and hopefully we can get something that's a little bit stronger than this past little run that we had, because this run in general hasn't been a strong run in comparison to these other two. So maybe it's going to be a 1-2 and then the breakout, as what happened a month ago, where we had two little false breakouts and then we had the big one that showed up. We are Sorry about that. We are nearing the end of this wedge. I do think that the official breakout, if you align it with the time, it looks like November, December. So I think that we're going to have a full year as far as consolidation is concerned before we really are at a point where we can start breaking out from these wedges. And what I would be looking for is a U shape as far as price action is concerned, and for us to start taking out some of our former highs. But right now, we can't even take out, these little ones. And these are proving really, really powerful and holding us back right now. So just something to look for. With that in mind, if, Bitcoin is likely to drop 10% as we've already indicated, if we jump into Ethereum USD, like I said, I do think that it's a very highly likelihood that we can get down to 200. And how far of a drop would that be if that happens? That would be about a 24% drop, and this has been typical as far as Ethereum has been concerned. Usually Ethereum takes twice as much pain as far as Bitcoin is concerned on the way down. The graph has seen that throughout these days, and we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely, I have my foot in USD and I'm shorting right now because that's been the best, way for me to be trading. So let's dive into BNB, corporate. This is one of the other 3 major coins that I do love to dive into at every chance I get. So BNB is holding a lot stronger than Ethereum, for instance. As far as Bitcoin's concerned, it is holding up stronger as far as consolidation. It's taken some hits recently. It's in limbo right now. I'm hoping I can get, a break. If we could break down to this white line, I would go full BNB, buying positions up like mad. But even if I can get a position at this blue line, I'm going to be making a strategic buy. If we do get the consolidation with Bitcoin, it's bound that BNB will follow a little bit. I do think that BNB will outperform a lot of the other shit coins. But in all, as far as the safe investment's concerned and being able to build up your position in BNB, do it now while you can, because BNB has always been one of the really good performers over time. And I do think that as far as how they have organized their company, it's something that I can support, and they definitely have a better grasp of what they're doing versus a lot of the competition out there. And for them to be one of the biggest exchanges, regardless, long-term investment, this is something you need to be looking at and trying to find an entry point, in my opinion. That's what I'm personally doing. So let's talk about a few altcoins. I know that there's a few altcoins in particular that you guys are looking at. If you have any suggestions on altcoins that you would like for me to review, this would be the time to be posting it within the chat or post it on Discord so I can start getting some of that information from you guys. But I'm going to dive into a few of my own personal picks that I'm going to be looking at. So one of the first major ones is Ontology. I rode the ride up because Ontology saw a lot of amazing price action, but we are actually consolidating nicely at these levels. We rode over 100% from the lows. From this point, you could definitely see that this was the day to make some money. And Ontology has been one of the really, really good performers. It broke down, but I think that if Bitcoin continues to break down, I would love for another buy-in position. And where would I be looking for in general? I think about the 184 mark is probably where I'm going to be looking. And if Ontology is really strong, and if Bitcoin collapses down to 6,000, and if it can only collapse 11% and basically stay on par with the collapse that Bitcoin's seeing, like 1-for-1, this would be a very, very bullish sign as far as I'm concerned. So that's how I'm viewing Ontology. It's a very interesting project, very interesting team. I'm just looking for the right time to get in. I think that we're almost getting there. We saw a really nice amount of breakdown today. We might get a small pump up to like 211, but if we can get some resistance and just continue this bear market, this is the coin I'm going to be watching the next few days. I'm going to be looking and telling you guys when I'm going to be entering in, especially if you're in our private group. So definitely a coin to be looking at. Definitely something that's on my buy list. It's just timing. You know, I'm trying to get the best sale on Ontology. I think we're almost there, but we still have a little bit to go. So let's go into another one that I know that you guys have been interested in. Nano. Nano has been another just phenomenal performer. It's holding a really strong angle right now, but at these levels, this is not a buy opportunity for me. It's going too fast, too high, and with everything else in the market going on, I'm gonna hope that we can break down, and if we can, that would be awesome. And maybe, like I said, I think that there's a lot of price action right here, and if we can get the collapse down where we can get a really good discount on Nano, I think that this would be the time to do it. But how far of a fall are we going from this point down? Yeah, that would have to be a 20% fall. It is possible. I've seen it. I think it could happen. We just have to break down from this angle, and then it will do its own course, in my opinion. But at these levels, this is just something I'm not looking at. I'm not interested in. Just risk reward, it just ain't there for me. Because if you had a really strong performer this past month, you usually just want to sit it out for a month and see what happens before jumping back in. Maybe just a few weeks, but we'll see over time. I'll keep you guys up to date on Nano because I do like the project. Just with how much it bounced, just like Ontology, you need to find the altcoins that are really showing life. Even like whenever there's a time to breathe in the market, the ones that are exploding, those are the ones that you need to be watching because they're just bubbling. Speaking of that, I have another coin I'm looking at. I'm going to be holding off on making buys into it, but I've done a lot of charting into sub. I was riding it up until we had our breakout from this wedge, but basically what I was looking for was another jump if we could get it. But as you can see, I kind of called it because as soon as I don't know what it was, but as soon as we had the breakdown, I figured that this was where we were going to collapse, and I even drew it beforehand. It's kind of funny that it actually lined up because I didn't do this like with this current price action. I did this yesterday. These graphs are kind of old, but really just really cool that it landed literally perfectly where I was telling you guys. I'm sure I posted that in Discord somewhere, but yeah, so from here, I would like to see the breakout, but with the current price action that is going on, I'm going to change that. I don't think that we're going to recover from here. I do think that we could collapse farther, especially if Bitcoin collapses a little bit more. But this is definitely a coin I'm going to be looking at making an entry this week if I can get a really good discount, because the thing is that there have been some really just phenomenal price movements. As you can see how large this one candle was. I caught this candle and it was over a 30% candle on an hour. And it was literally the FOMO was there, 30%, really good. Then we had this nice run, another 30%. And then we've had, just really large wicks on the candle. And that's really what you want to be looking for as far as an automation trader is concerned. I don't care what the price action is, but if I start seeing like 5 of these huge wicks, I'm all in as an automation trader, just for the reason of like being able to catch one of these is gold. I've caught so many of these with Civic, because Civic had phenomenal wicks, probably a month ago. Right now I haven't been trading it because it hasn't seen the life that I need for it to be a good investment right now, but at the time it was 120, 30%, just really awesome gains, and you start to see these wicks bubble up, and that's how you know that there's there's FOMO going into it, there's hype, and you might be at a point where you can see a breakout. But as of right now, we saw the breakdown. And if you would have saw us breaking out from this angle, you would have known that, hey, this is getting pretty risky, and you would have hopefully been able to sell up here versus catching. It's not that bad of a loss, I don't think. Let's see where it is. Yeah, so it's only taken a 6% loss. It's staying better, actually, than Bitcoin's loss today. About the same of Ethereum. So it's taken about the same hit in market cap. But I do think that we could see a little bit of a jump. I do think that we're going to be rejected at this angle once again now that we broke down from it. In best case scenario from this, we can see the pump up, and then we would see the rejection up here at this angle before breakdown. But even at these levels, a 6% I'm not that interested in. I usually like to go for the 20s or the 30% or more. That's usually how I set up my automation trading. And that's in bull markets. But whenever I see a really bear market, a breakdown, a lot of red signals, it's just not appealing to me right now. So that's Substratum. I'm gonna check the chat and see if you guys have any questions. We have a few people in here. If anybody has any thing that they want me to look at, I'll check Discord also. If there's any, because I wanted to do this, make this a relatively fast video, but I did want to cover a few of the big ones. There's actually another one. Why not? I'm gonna do ETP. I think that this was a pretty interesting one, because ETP has been a really strong performer. I did a video, basically a review whenever ETP first came out. This is, I think, yeah, so I know the CEO used to work with Neo, and he left and he started his own project because some of the issues with the Neo platform. But if we can, I think, honestly, I think we could be getting consolidation if the bears continue as they are, at least down to the 2.5. We're at 275. That would give us a solid 7% loss. So it would definitely, like I said, I think even we could go farther than that. I'm just not looking at ETP right now. I want to see what happens at this level. The 2.6 mark, the 2.5. I want to see what happens when we start bubbling around here, and if we can start getting some really nice wicks, maybe I might enter. But this is a coin I'll be watching, but I do think that most likely if the bears do continue, this thing's gonna fall pretty fast. I do think that it's most likely that we will hit the $2 mark. That's probably where I'm gonna be looking to make my buy. I'm just extremely bearish right now as far as the market's concerned. I have no reason to be bullish. There's no real news, no real ETF. The way that the Bitmex thing happened, and just the amount of shorting that is going on right now, there's just so much negative pushing the market down right now. And as I told you guys, we're gonna have a slow market, and you can definitely prepare for that. But like I said, you just, like, if I could suggest anything, it'd just be trying to play both ends of the coin. The good thing about a slow market is that I do think that the extremes are going to start to lessen in comparison to some of the pain that we felt if you've already gone down a few notches. I think that these next few months are relatively, we'll still have opportunities to catch the 20% gains and stuff, but I do think that it's going to slowly shrink and shrink and shrink until we can completely get that full breakout that we're looking for. So let me do one last time. I'm gonna look into the chat. There's nothing, so I guess nobody has any TA questions as far as any other specific coins. I'm just trying to think of any other ones that I want to look into. There's one last one I'll jump into before I head off, I guess. XMR. So Monero's a coin I've been watching, and as far as Monero is concerned, it's not looking so good right now. Yeah, because I was using this angle to really try and see what was happening. I was going to make a buy entry at this point, but I pulled out. I think whenever we hit the highs of Bitcoin, I knew to pull out, so I pulled out up here whenever Bitcoin was running up to 2,800, and then since then we've just had a collapse. So surprisingly, this has collapsed a lot farther than I was expecting, because I know that Monero has a lot more value on the dark web, and they have a marketplace, and a lot is transacted in Monero. So I think that there is an ecosystem, but for it to take a 10% loss where Bitcoin and Ethereum, did half of that, that's kind of depressing. So as of right now, my rule of thumb is angles, and we broke out of this one. So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna let Monero do its thing for right now. I'm gonna see what happens if we can get a strong bounce back up above this angle. I might be making an entry, but just a coin I'm looking at. As far as volume is concerned, like I do also want to say, like Monero's been getting like huge stacks of volume, and as far as bubbling up is concerned, like even though price action's been pushing us down, there's definitely been a lot of movement going on, and I don't know. It's just a lot of volume on the buy, sell, and on the sell side. You just got these huge wicks, and you have these huge, candles as far as volume is concerned. So I definitely think that that is saying something. And as far as use cases, right? If there is going to be use cases in the ecosystem, we would want to see these volumes to continue to grow in comparison. I'm going to pull us up to the 1 day and see if we can see any more on the volume and where it's holding. So on the 1 day, it's not as extreme, especially in comparison to our past highs. But as far as throughout, this time, right, we've gone through a huge bear period from this time, and we're finally getting to a point where we're starting to take out volume. So this has been over, a few months in the making, and the volume has been relatively low. But in general, I am seeing larger volume going up here. There is also a lot of sell volume, which caused us to collapse, especially down this road. But definitely, like I said, just a coin I'm looking at. We got to break out of this angle until I'm fully on board. So with that, I guess I will let you guys go. If you guys are interested, I'll throw this out there because we do have our Patreon. It's like $10, and you get put into our Discord group. I'm going to be starting to host some private live streams only for the Patreon members. Maybe some private classes, free if you're in the Patreon group. But you also get, a lot of the calls. Like a lot of the people, if you would have been up, if you would have been able to get this call, we're basically, I told you guys that we're going to start consolidating 6,700. And lo and behold, that's what happened as far as Bitcoin's concerned. You get this stuff, and I can help better alert you, send you out what I'm seeing. And so far as strategy and markets concerned, my calls have been relatively really good. I don't know what I've really messed up on as far as calls are concerned, and it's been over my whole time as an automation trader. So hopefully you guys will support me on Patreon. But with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day trading the market. We will have more HassOnline videos coming out and tutorials, so look forward to that. I have a really interesting how to set it up video that I think you guys are gonna like. But with that, at the end of the day, you are your own investor. Thank you guys for watching.